Bearing in mind that Tomsk is actually being led by Yuri, so Yuri might be in favour of Tomsk. I just wanted to throw that in there as an additional facet. Novosibirsk, the closest to us. Tomsk actually fought pretty well, and they'd be pro-Yuri. The communist generals, probably not. So, there we go. Vote, vote, vote. Get your votes on. The vote is live. This is where the Grand Principality will fail, with thunderous applause from the Sobor as we invite traitors into the High Command. Utopia Rocco wants me to drink some tea. Oh man, I missed a bunch of gift subs. I'm sorry about that. Mustani gifted a sub to Charlotte Holland. Charlotte, congratulations on the gift sub courtesy of Mustani. And Mustani also gifted a sub to Right on Time. Thank you very much for that, Mustani. Congrats to Right on Time for the gift sub as well. And then Re6690 and Semgeta, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Cool, first time watching on Twitch. Big fan from YouTube. Welcome! This is where everything happens live. Really? Okay. So the Revolutionary Council came in last with 5%. Novosibirsk, because apparently I can't spell, came in with 13%. 14% was none. Tomsk was 28%. And the victor was actually pardoning all of them. That's interesting. Agent Striker contributed 3,100 bits. Thank you very much for that. And Flanky contributed 17,000 channel points. However, I did say that the Sobor is an advisory body, and we shall take the advice of our advisors and ignore it. We're going with Tomsk. We're pardoning the Tomsk generals. I don't trust all of them. Absolutely not. Better army professionalism. Yes, sir. This is a Yes, this is a dictatorship. We're 36% despotism. We've become slightly more democratic, which is why I listen to you, and then I ignore you. That's what an authoritarian democracy is. Yes, sir! Those two words seem the ultimate lesson in the history of military theory. It's not the quality of the guns or the weaponry to make an army, but discipline. These men hold on until death because of a command will be the ones to claim victory. In a world of absolute war, brave new weaponry, it seems we often forget the simple fact. An army cannot function without these two words. Luckily, anti-corruption programs in the army and new boot camps have brought our army one step closer to the ultimate goal of Spartanic valor. No longer will the men defect or serve political masters, they will serve the generals and nothing else. This is why we must not empower those generals. We should vote for a new king. That's not how it works. I'm here by the divine right of being more important than you. Okay, so we're replacing political interference with a professional army. Political power goes up. Division training time goes down. Organization goes up. Recovery goes up. Division attack and defense goes up. Army intelligence to others goes down. Navy intelligence goes down. Air Force intelligence goes down. And that's intelligence given to others, because that means that we're keeping Sturm. Okay, so that's actually a nice upgrade. And also better research facilities. What a wonderful day. The money keeps on rolling in, and our scientists are loving it. With the budget of our research and development programs skyrocketing, we've built new research facilities and upgraded our old laboratories. This won't just allow us to be safe when working, but handle more dangerous materials and ensure the greater amounts of research to be done. Across the private and public sector, new technologies from military to civilian use are being developed. Of course, this is good for more than just the scientists. Now, citizens will be able to enjoy the boon of research, and economic bonuses like new industrial technology will keep the economy moving. So, political power goes down, but that's okay, that's counted by the professional army. And then research speed also goes up. And we now have a 1%! We no longer have a penalty to research. Huzzah! Get rid of penal labour and we would be on... Oh no, that is the 1%. Sweet. So we are now modern research facilities, no penalty. So what's this trending towards? Politicized academia? That's actually a slowdown in research. It's got to be cutting edge. I can't see either of these being the next choice, unless you get a choice of them. I think that these are unique to some countries. Primary school becomes secondary. That probably is cutting edge. Mass mechanization leads to modern. Poverty rate goes down to 1525. Income factor 70% from 35. That's an even bigger boost. This is where we want to be. But it's only going up by 3, so it's going to be slow. Rudimentary manufacturing. That we are still quite behind in. We want to get to the factory complexes or even better modern industrial equipment. This will be an increase in construction speed of 10%. And factory output of 10%. Yeah, that's a big boost. Industrial experience. We're already experienced, so we can get to innovative. Efficiency cap of 15%. Oof. Professional army. We have a really good professional army. We can get to Spartan discipline. That would be pretty amazing. I don't know if we'll ever actually be able to achieve that, although it is still going up. And we don't have any nukes. Alright, learning from the Siberian conquest. The wars to reunify Central Siberia were brutal and hard fought. But His Majesty's armies proved their worth and achieved victory in the end. To better understand our own strengths and flaws, it would be wise to look back and examine the doctrines of both our forces and that of our enemies. We'll find out exactly what worked and what didn't. And once this is done, the King's military staff can devise new strategies and tactics built upon the best aspects of each. With the advantages once utilised by our foes, now assimilated into the Royal Army, we'll have a good start towards reshaping the Central Siberian military into a fearsome force indeed. We'll gain 20 army experience and land doctrine bonus. Is it possible to have no poverty? Yes, less than 5% would be here. Although at 5 to 10% it's effectively a moot point. Or at least it is regards to taxation. 15 to 25 is just a really big factor again. What, say how much I have. Oh, liquid reserves, 44 million. I mean, we're going to keep on paying off the national debt with this, and that is going to continue to increase our deficit. Sorry, our surplus. The opposite of deficit. Not even sure how to make those things go up besides focusing events. That's the only way of doing it. Maybe bring the civvies online again. No, because I'll just start losing money again. We might be able to do it one step, but that's not enough. It needs to be, I think, 3 steps before civvies come online again. And we cannot afford the 3 steps. It would just be a waste of political power. Allocate education funding. Do I really want to spend 175? That's a moderate GDP increase. No, we're done with that. We're not doing any more money investments. GDP has not done what I thought it would in increasing revenue. At least not substantially enough. Silicious cord armor finished. So now we can go to the combination K ceramic type. Instead of glass, our experiments have found a layer of plastic reinforced by glass and ceramic plates work much better. We can defend against heat, rounds and shaped charges better without sacrificing defense against kinetic energy penetrators. Money machine go brrr. That's what we're working on. Expand the shield maidens. Women law becomes combat roles, which is loads more recruitable population. Stability and war support goes down. That's okay, I can afford that. Do it. In our new realm, every devoted subject is willing to risk their lives to fight for a better Russia, even the women. This was no more apparent than during the wars in Central Siberia, when our specially assembled force of elite female soldiers, the Shield Maidens, proved themselves to be more effective than we could have ever anticipated. The implications here are clear. We have an excellent source of manpower. That is, until now, gone completely untapped, or women power. No longer, with the assistance of Princess Lydia, we'll begin to raise more Shield Maiden divisions to allow the women of Central Siberia the opportunity to fight for their king. With more fierce shield maidens at the king's command, who could possibly hope to challenge him on the field of battle. Oh, so I guess Lydia is still around. And that's with... It's not that one. Military laws. It's not draft exemptions, not racial. Women, here we go. So they're currently non-combat roles, so recruitable factor will go up by 15%. Stability only actually goes down by 1%, more support by 2%. Not a bad payoff for another 15% recruitable factor, which we need, because... You know, we're pulling a Mordred. Alright, so we've got the MiG-15, which we can immediately start producing. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab the MiG-21s. We're basically going to skip this. 167 days. The jet fighter, while an effective weapon, left much for refinement. The new design has a more aerodynamic shape, a powerful engine, and better agility than its predecessor. With these improvements, our plane shall dominate the skies. And I don't think I'm even going to bother switching production. Because I have a feeling that switching production twice will actually cost us more. Civilian austerity has ended. Does that mean we're producing anything now? No. So keep it going. And we'll continue to use our liquid reserves to pay off the debts. Yeah, see, getting rid of the interest is what's causing this to go up. Those interest payments, even at 8%, are pretty dire. The cheaper your interest, the more you can afford to have in terms of debt versus GDP. But we've reached our limits at the 8%. Imagine going from Yak straight to modern MiGs, and then fighting nations with no air force at all. Yeah, I know. It's gonna be pretty overwhelming what our air force can do here. Zimbabwe has defeated the Botswana-Zimbabwe Democratic Front in a war. Yes, I know we're producing outdated. I don't care. It's fine. Gibraltar Dam officially finished. The huge construction project, the Gibraltar Dam, for some just a bottomless well with Germany threw its resources into after the war, has finally been finished. It's a long journey, has brought alongside it a variety of issues with consequences for more nations. Its long journey brought alongside it a variety of issues which its consequences affected far more nations than just the Reich. Yet the responsibility of the abandoned project fell onto the people who had directly to deal with the fallout, not just the Germans. The Iberians had to deal with the dam whilst Europe fell into economic freefall. Despite all odds, the project has now been finished and has earned the Union a considerable amount of prestige in the international community. Iberia itself is overjoyed by the news and proclaimed it a national victory. The Germans quickly moved in to claim credit, but outside of the National Socialist sphere, this has not been accepted well. Congratulations. On the day that we expanded the Shield Maidens, way more important. Mechanized Infantry Corps. That's a research bonus for APCs. Let me just double check that we've actually got the most modern APC. We do. 1960s. So I'm going to save that ahead of time for this, rather than researching these immediately. I want to see if it works that way. I suspect it will. Demonstrated time and time again since the Second World War, mechanized infantry units supported by FVs are, without question, the future of warfare. I disagree. Supported by battle tanks. What we need is battle tanks. Supported by battle tanks. As part of the ongoing efforts to modernize the army, the King has begun a series of organizational reforms intended to finally bring the infantry into the 20th century by introducing mechanization. In his ideal vision, all of the infantry divisions are to ride into battle on APCs and overwhelm the enemy with the blistering speed of their attacks. No longer will His Majesty's troops slog it out on foot, forced to tow their artillery with horses. Horses! This is a new age, and such ancient concepts simply won't cut it. Our military must embrace every modern innovation they can and become the more effective for it. Actually, yeah, it would be really expensive to convert you to APCs. Bugger. Would actually be cheaper to just create a new division and replace the Drużyna with those. Oh man, so much cheaper. That would cost 200 APCs. Combat width of 8. So we could get to combat with 10 APC divisions. Max speed of 20 kilometers. They'll be even faster than the tank divisions. And be really, really well protected. Armor level of 50. And also really high hardness. Like regular infantry have a piercing of 14. Anyway, I'm currently earning $500 million a year. 19 billion doubled would be 40, 38. So it'll be 38 years before we pay off the debt at current rates. A great conspiracy. Strange rumours have arisen from the depths of Japanese-occupied China. Following the arrest of Nanjing-aligned General Sun Dianyang, rumours of great conspiracy have spread like wildfire. A conspiracy involving the long-lost former leader of Juntong, Dai Li. The Chinese countryside is gripping with terror. Dai Li has famously noted for his brutality during the Chiang Kai-shek years. Tokyo, however, has refused to comment or acknowledge the Dai Li situation, calling it an imperialist misdirection of Pan-Asian harmony, or an anti-Nippon conspiracy. There are rumours, however, of the conspiracy being linked to the higher echelons of the Japanese military intelligence, and only time will tell whether this is true. Why do I want to repay debt? All modern countries are happy if debt is growing slowly. Because they're idiots! Alright, new technology. More better, bigger guns. Yeah. High explosive AT heat warhead relies on shape charge to punch through enemy armor and send molten steam of it into the vehicle, messing it up. It should be the primary anti-armor round used by our main battle tanks. Year and a half remain. No. Half a year remaining. Debt is near meaningless for states. I disagree with that. Because someone's still got to pay it off at some point, and interest payments can be incredibly high. Mechanized Infantry Corps. In fact, yeah, I want to keep that going where and when possible. Kingdom's Finest. During our nation's darkest moments in Kemerovo, our nascent military was forced to make compromises for the sake of getting more rifles out into the field to fight the king's many enemies. Now that all of Central Siberia has been united, the time for compromise is over. Our military must consist of the finest men and women in all of Russia, and to achieve this, Rurik II has proposed a significant tightening of the Principality's recruitment and training standards. Furthermore, he also wishes to completely overhaul and modernize our current methods of training to create a more efficient system for creating the soldiers of tomorrow. Once these reforms are enacted, only the best will be available to fill the ranks, and the military will become a crack force of warriors who are ready to do whatever it takes to defend the motherland. Developmental subsidies. That the factories? That's the factory one. That one we kind of have to keep doing. 300 million does put us back, but so many building slots. There's only building slots. We don't... No, but that's building slots. We might not be able to use those now, but if we keep those rolling over, their industry in the future is going to be that much stronger. Which basically is halving our ability to actually pay off this deficit. For the first time, our GDP is growing faster than the debt. Because we started at 49, which would be 69, so we're actually $1 billion ahead of the curve. think this might be the only one, with the possible exception of the poverty decisions. Does infrastructure impact your GDP? Yes, it does. Because it means more resources on the market, which increases GDP. We're doing it. This is just such a critical one. We're doing that one. We'll just have to swallow it. Is there a way to disable censorship on mobile? What was censored? Wasn't anything on our end. I get a notification for it. The other thing is, the faster that we pay off the debt, the faster we can pay off the debt in the future. Yeah, see, that actually increased our deficit reduction more. Keep pumping the money in. The Iberian divorce. The Iberian Union has reached what seems to have been its fated conclusion. According to insider reports, the government was forced into a deadlock following several irreconcilable stances on varying issues. Able to veto one another, the Cordelos stopped any practical policy. The Cordelos had reportedly engaged in negotiations to split the Union up, which have come to fruition with the creation of Spain and Portugal. Dubbed the Iberian divorce by the international community, the former Union has been partitioned between the new countries. Just wasn't meant to be. And we have a Portugal once again, and a Spain. So Spain gets to keep everything from the dam, I guess. Ah, sod. They've come back again. See, these are the ones I was talking about. The poverty rate reductions. And those ones I feel like we do want, because poverty rate equals taxes. And I'm pretty sure we'll pay that off within 30 years. So we're doing the welfare programs. We're doing the poverty relief programs. None of the others, though. These ones are going to be reduced or removed. Combination K, ceramic type. That was armor. And yes, I was correct. It would be the different types of vehicle as well. Okay, we'll go for the multi-layered steel ceramic composite. Because we want to get as many of these done as possible before we get the tank focus. Which we know is coming, because there is one. Armor improvements, that one. Although there's 3 of them, so as long as I just use 2 of those and keep one for the 1970s tank, that'll be okay. Alright, research. Yeah, more armor. By incorporating many spaced layers of hardened steel with layers of boron carbonate composite, the effectiveness of our armor plate becomes enormously greater as the projectile shatters as it travels through the different materials. 83 days only. Not bad. Kingdom's finest. Alright, now we can start working on these. So, helicopters, aircraft, infantry weapons. I think aircraft, because we're going to be researching better MiGs. Except, we should have done that before starting this one, potentially. Although this will allow us to get the 1970s. MiG-23 sooner. But I don't feel like we need it now. So let's get the infantry weapons. That one I think is always going to be useful. The Royal Army's troops are forced to make do with the vintage bolt-action rifles, and while the rest of the world's moved on to using fully automatic assault rifles and more man-portable weapons that can crack open the heaviest tank in the fastest plane. This is unacceptable. His Majesty knows this true and has wisely tasked Rurik with studying modern designs from all across the world. That's not true with the AK-47. With some careful analysis and just a little bit of luck, our engineers are able to present to the military with advanced but still robust designs that would best serve our troops on a modern battlefield. Only the finest and most modern tools for warfare will do for the King's armies. No longer get the effects from military austerity. That's unacceptable. Still have another couple of months in which I can keep this down. My deficit's gone up again. We were at minus 500. No, minus 600 for a time. Meanwhile, GDP continues to climb. But then so does the debt. Oh, right, because of the poverty initiatives. Portugal gets the dam on weekends. Import heavy machinery. I would love to, but that one is particularly expensive. Alright, we are going to do Heffalopters. Tanks and the like are all well and good, but our Air Force still lacks helicopters to help support our troops on the ground. These fearsome machines can perform a multitude of roles, from transport to ground attack missions, and have become an almost essential part of a modern Air Force. Fortunately, there is one man who could help us fill this gap. Nikolai Kamov is a brilliant engineer whose speciality is designing helicopters. His design bureau, sadly, was vastly underappreciated by the previous government of Central Siberia, and lacked the funding needed to move forwards with any kind of projects. Rurik wishes to generously fund Kamov's bureau so that he may help us with designing cutting-edge modern helicopters for the military. Alright then. Horses with wings. Winged hussars! Yeah, maybe. Perhaps.